Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I have Joe Rinderknecht on the line, and he's a founder of Cowboy Capital. Joe, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Adam. Excited to be here and talk with your listeners.
All right, so we got a lot to talk about here today. I know we're going to get into Cowboy Capital, and then I also have that you have a nonprofit that you are highly passionate about, so we'll get into that as well. But just to get us kicked off, how did you get into the money business? Like, where'd that start for you?
Yeah, great question. So for those of you who may know me or look me up, I always wear a cowboy hat, right? I grew up farming, ranching, northern Utah. The funny thing is, like, my last name actually means keeper of the herd in German.
Oh, does it really? Okay.
Yeah. So we've been, ranchers since, you could say the beginning of time.
Yeah.
And what's kind of interesting is growing up on the farm and ranch. So I am the oldest of the grandkids on my dad's side, on my dad's side. And then I'm the oldest of my siblings. And as I got older, everybody was pointing me toward continuing to do ranching, right? Just continue the family legacy. And so growing up on the ranch, I learned a lot of great values that I use in my company now. But as I got older, I realized that I wanted more for myself and didn't want to just be tied down to one place, even though I loved that lifestyle. And so about middle school, high school, I picked up, my dad gave me the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, just like anybody who is in real estate has read. And that really sparked a lot of interest in, getting into more of the money side of things. And growing up, we raised and sold cows, and we did pigs and did the whole 4-H. And so I started getting just really, really intrigued with money and how it's made. And I graduated high school in 08, 09. My parents got hurt pretty bad with some real estate, just like a lot of people did. And they started pushing me to go to school to be an x-ray tech. And I started going to school to be an x-ray tech because it was a safe, secure job and would always be in demand, right? And they were doing the best they could with what they had at that time. And it's kind of interesting because kind of fast forward 09 to, started going to college, and then in 13, I got into a really bad car accident where I lost my little brother and my grandma, which is where my nonprofit comes from. And I had not been living life for myself. I had been living for kind of what other people wanted me to do. And so that's when I never went back to medical school. I went right into the entrepreneurship program, ended up getting a bachelor in finance, minor in entrepreneurship and real estate. And I've been doing multifamily investing, buying apartment complexes since about 2016. And, we're 10 years into that path, and it's been a wild ride, but it's been amazing.
Wow, what a story. I think this is a good time. You mentioned the nonprofit that you started. I think this is a good time to get a mention of that. And can you give us the name and kind of you just gave us the kind of a little bit of the why, but go further for me, please.
Yes, sir. So Tiny's Tribe is the name. Tiny was my little brother's nickname. He was 21 at the time. I was 22. And Tribe is, all-encompassing with, your community and the people around you, right? So I would not be who I am or where I am today if it wasn't for the community, because the car wreck was bad enough. My brother and my grandma passed away. I went out of the vehicle for a short period of time and was on the ICU for 10 days, lucky to be alive today. And if it wasn't for the community and the friends and family that paid for hospital bills and funeral costs and life flight for my grandma and just came and made sure that we were okay, right? I would not be where I am today. And so I started Tiny's Tribe, which does just that for other families. We find families who've been in some kind of incident or accident that resulted in death or severe injury of a family member. And we go and we help them in 4 ways. And those 4 ways are the necessities of life, really, because we want to make life as easy as possible while they're going through whatever experience they went through. So first is financial stability. Second is food. We've partnered with ranchers and have given away half a beef before. Third is home renovations. We've gone in Utah and renovated somebody's, couple houses completely. And then fourth, which I think is the most important, is the mindset. If we can help people have an optimistic look on life as they pull out of kind of that grief period, we feel like we've won, because I've seen people that have gone completely down a dark path, where, committing suicide, or not committing, but like considering suicidal thoughts and drugs.
Yeah.
And we want to keep people on the path towards God and having an optimistic look on life. And so that's really what our nonprofit is about, is help people get back on their feet, make things as simple as possible while they're going through this experience, and help them, hit the ground running like I was able to. What an
amazing story. Yeah, what an amazing story, and what a great way to honor your family members, your grandmother and your brother. That's amazing. I want to circle back here, Joe, to Cowboy Capital. So first, go a little bit further into, I know you mentioned real estate, but go a little bit further into maybe the investment thesis and exactly what you do and what kind of investments you're making.
So, been doing multifamily for about a decade, started doing small multifamily duplex, fourplex. Then for a couple of years, I got into property management. Oh, and I'll mention, I actually grew up doing construction with my dad as well. And that all ties into today, because in the last 18 months, we've bought 4 deals totaling 419 units and raised a little over $14 million. And
amazing.
We buy apartment deals that are, light to mid value add. And we're in the middle of like 3 pretty big renovation projects right now. And we're unique in our operations that we largely buy in the Mountain West. So Montana, Idaho, Utah is where the bulk of our portfolio is. And now we've started purchasing in tertiary markets in Texas that fit the business plan to a T of what we're really good at.
How do you're good at raising capital. You raise a lot of capital. I'm curious about the investor communication side. What differentiates your Cowboy Capital when it comes to that?
Yeah, so the last couple of years, anybody who's been in multifamily knows that it's been really tough with interest rates and values and rents coming down, and just a lot of supply hitting the market. So there's a lot of investors out there that have completely lost their capital, because when the interest rates are so high, you can't go to cash neutral refinance. And so lots of investors have been burned, right? They've done capital calls or paused distributions or just lost their equity entirely. And I think a lot of that could have been prevented if there was quicker communication with investors. I even had a deal that went sideways. My partners weren't willing to communicate the bad news as quickly as it should have been. And so we have a new saying, it's we run out the bad news and walk out the good news, because we want to be fully and 100% transparent with our investors, no matter the situation. And I think it even breeds more confidence with investors if you are forthright and transparent in everything. And so a couple of things that we do to make sure our investors feel like they're being communicated, even with stuff going sideways, is we send out a monthly investor update. Most other companies will do quarterly or annual, or some don't even communicate when things are going sideways, So we communicate monthly. We have a YouTube channel where we post videos of construction updates, because people receive information differently. Some like to read, some like to listen, some like to watch. And sometimes and a lot of our investors are local, they can go and touch the assets. But we're trying to give as much evidence of progress as possible to our investors. And then we even have what's called an asset management plan. We go and we pretty much line out all the roles and responsibilities of everybody on that project. And then we set expectations and KPIs and timelines. And we've had really amazing feedback from our investors that they're able to see even more than what they would have seen typically with another operator. And this asset management plan also holds property managers, construction managers, kind of feet to the fire, because I have them all sign it and agree to the business plan, right? And the other thing we do too is most of our deals, like we just raised $6 million for a deal in Texas with 8 investors. And so we try and have kind of fewer the better investors on these deals, because when you're an LP or a limited partner, you don't have voting rights, you don't have control, you don't really have a say. But when we have fewer investors, it's so much easier for us to treat our LPs like partners. Mm-hmm. And we have done this where we will get on the phone with our investors, or we'll set up a webinar and say, hey, we want your guys' opinion of what we should do. Where are you at? You know, do you want us to refinance? Should we sell? You know, these are what the market is showing us. These are the indicators. And we'll have a conversation. At the end of the day, we'll be the ones to choose, but we still want their voices to be heard and want them to feel like they do have a say. And so we treat our investors like partners more than just a dollar amount that invested in our deal. And that's been, and I think all of this wrapped in a nice, neat package with Bo is all about, you know, just the relationships that we have with our investors and letting them know how much that relationship means to us. So it's
great. So we're in February, about to be in March. I can't believe this. We're about to be Q1, about to be in the history books shortly. Just curious, what do you got up for the rest of the year? Like, what's on the plans? What's on the agenda?
So we plan on buying a deal a quarter. We are under contract to purchase a 117 unit in San Marcos, Texas. It's just up the road from our other 292 unit that we purchased back in September. And then we have we've got half a dozen LOIs out on deals that are in Utah and Idaho right now. So we're really hoping to get a few more of those deals. But yeah, deal a quarter, hoping to raise at least 12 to 14 million or more. And yeah, just grow consistently, right? Not do anything too crazy, but I think that makes it so that we can do what we say we're going to do on the existing deals, but also bring new opportunities to the investors as well.
Wonderful. Joe, first off, great having you on the show today and learning more about your background. And then, of course, your nonprofit. That's amazing to hear that you took something that happened and you're making it a benefit for others to be able to help them out in their time of need. So great. I love to hear when entrepreneurs do this. That being said, how do people follow up if they want to learn more about Cowboy Capital or if they want to learn more about the nonprofit?
Yeah, so Cowboy Capital, you can go to our website, cowboycapital.us, or you can send me an email, joe@cowboycapital.us. I'm on all the social medias. I really only am on LinkedIn and Instagram. And then as far as the nonprofit, I mean, we have a page on Instagram and Facebook for Tiny's Tribe. It's been a couple of years since we've updated it, but we're getting it up and going again this year, and we'll have our website up soon.
Perfect. And for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes, so you can just click on the links and head right on over. Speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So hit that subscribe or follow button. And Joe, thanks again for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Adam. Sure appreciate you.